Fresh Atlantic salmon arrives deboned less than 72 hours after the fish was plucked from the waters of Chile.
I know what you're thinking. That's not the Atlantic.
If you didn't already know, Atlantic salmon is a species, and it doesn't denote specifically where it comes from.
So Atlantic salmon haven't necessarily spent their lives swimming in the Atlantic Ocean. Fresh and pink, Atlantic salmon are a great choice for smoking.
Color is important, but texture is, for me, the most important thing. Texture is the thing that you really can feel the difference from Atlantic versus a lot of other species.
And to get the best Atlantic salmon all year round, the Nadlers choose farmed salmon.
If you want to do a fresh, never frozen product and offer it 12 months of the year, you have to run a farm-raised product. Wild salmon only run for a few weeks of the year.
Wild Atlantic salmon are not commercially fished in North America, as they are a threatened species. So farming salmon helps meet demand. It works for the economy, and it protects the wild species.
So we have our deboned fresh pink salmon, but we're not ready to get smoking just yet. First, the fish are brined. The technique of brining fillets with a mixture of salt and sugar draws out the moisture from the fish, giving it a pleasant, firm texture.
Brining also acts as a marinade to give the salmon a delicate, sweet, and salty flavor. The layering creates pressure on the fish, and this increases the flavoring and preserving effects of the brine. These guys are the experts.
I'm Ian. I'm Brian. We've been working together for 5 years.
The fillet on the left has lost moisture, giving a firmer texture.
And it takes 24 hours for most of the moisture to be drawn out of the fish.
The next morning, the salt and sugar have done their job and can be rinsed off. Now the rack of 80 sides of salmon is taken to the machine that's key to this operation, the smoker. Central Epicure has 5 smokers, but this is the biggest, fitting 4 racks. That's 320 sides of salmon.
So now it's time to get smoking. You can use just about any type of wood, but for these guys, it has to be maple.
Maple wood flavor is not as intense as some other flavors are, but I think it provides a nice rounded smoke flavor.
A little bit of wood hits a hot plate, starts to burn, and this smoke generator just pulls the smoke out, feeds it into the house.
The pipes carrying the smoke are wrapped in coils that cool the smoke to 16 degrees Celsius. This is called cold smoking.
Most of that time it's actually not smoking, it's actually drying to remove the moisture from the product.
Hot smoking at a higher temperature would cook the fish and remove even more moisture, leaving you with a smoked, cooked fish.
After 15 hours of flavoring and drying in the smoke chamber, the smoked salmon is ready. They're already cool, but they need to be cold to make them firmer, as a firm fish is easier to slice. So first, they sit in a refrigerator set at 3 degrees Celsius.
The lovely skin that kept the fish together when it arrived is no longer needed. The salmon flesh is now firm and can stand up on its own. It's de-skinned in a flash.
Pretty amazing that it takes the skin off the whole salmon in a second or so without damaging the flesh of the salmon.
Now they're ready to be trimmed by hand. The brown spots are just fat, but customers prefer an all-pink salmon.
Okay, here comes the tricky part. Thinly and cleanly slicing the delicate flesh. It's a high-tech operation.
The slicers that we use here are a pretty recent technological advancement. There are 2 blades that reciprocate and go back and forth so that they don't tear the flesh of the salmon.
The machine is designed so that it knows where the beginning and the end of the fillet is, so it can change the angle and slow down its slicing so that we get optimal yield.
That's one clever cutter. Each slice is 2.5 millimeters thick. And there are about 40 to 50 slices per side of salmon.
The team weighs out 100-gram portions on individual scales. They're sealed, then slipped into sleeves. These guys pack 10,000 pounds of smoked salmon a week.
It's enough to cover 100,000 bagels with smoked salmon.
Now it's ready to be shipped to grocery stores, hotels, restaurants,